Hey everybody, it is day 20. 20 of 22. Man, we are getting down to the wire. 20 of 22 days of push-ups, 22 days of talking about veteran suicide. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for watching these videos, for sharing the videos, for sharing the fundraiser, for contributing to the fundraiser. Again, for those of you who aren't aware, because I'm sure most of you are though, we're raising money for Mission 22, an organization that helps veterans in need, veterans who are at their end of their rope, veterans who maybe have already tried to kill themselves and need some recovery from that experience, as well as helping with educating the community, just a plethora of things that can help out and help alleviate and help end this epidemic of veteran suicide. Now, I know it's a topic that's been hard to talk about, and I know it's hard to think about, and it's something we try to avoid. And I think a lot of times we get in our heads that, well, these people are trained to go through what they've gone through. They should know what they're getting themselves into. And I think because of that, we dismiss some of the trauma that comes with combat. In particular, I mean, we see it in movies, so we think we know what we're getting into. We think we know what these people are experiencing, but we don't. I mean, think of yourself. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane to a certain degree here. Like, I was 18 years old when I enlisted in the Army. Think of yourself at 18 years old. Because maybe some of you are 18, maybe some of you are younger, maybe you're thinking of enlisting, maybe some of you are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, 60s, 80s, hundreds, who knows. But think about yourself at 18, particularly if you're a little bit beyond that age, like I am. I'm 40. I was 18 years old. I thought I had the world by the balls. I knew it all. I could do it all. There was nothing that would faze me. I was ready for anything. Here I am, 40 years old. I look back and, boy, I could fill a museum with the things I didn't know. I mean, how many times a day do you sit there and go, man, if I knew then what I know now? You think you know what you're getting yourself into at 18 years old. You think you're prepared for what you think you're going to see at 18 years old. And particularly me personally, I mean, I was 18 years old and I enlisted in 1999. We were in a peacetime situation. There was nothing going on. There was nothing to really wrap my head around, period. Now, subsequently, people who have enlisted, since, particularly say after September 11th, 2001, knew that when they enlisted, there was not just a likelihood, even a probability, it was guaranteed, unless there was some reason that kept you from going, you were going to deploy. But even then, at 18, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I would even say at 25, when I found myself in the desert, which is a far cry from the woods and guns that I was signing up for, I was definitely not even as mature then as I am now, nor was I prepared for things I would see, and I would say nobody is. And let's say you're 30, you're 40, it doesn't matter the age. Until you've experienced the horrific things a person can see at war, you really have no frame of reference. And that's not to slight anybody or say, well, you don't understand where they've been, so you can't be of any assistance. It's let's not dismiss their experiences and say, well, they should have known what they were getting themselves into. Oh, they should have known, they were prepared, they were trained. There is no way, no matter how good the quality of training is, no matter how many movies you watched or video games you've played that can prepare you for the chaos, for the violence, for the gore, for the traumatic emotional impact that certain situations are going to put on you. It's one thing to watch a movie and maybe have an hour or two to invest yourself in a character and then see them injured or killed. It's something else to spend years, day in, day out, morning, noon, and night. Because the military is not like every other job. You don't clock in, hang out with these people for 8 hours, clock out, go home, 5 days a week, call it good. It's 24/7. You're out in the middle of the night. You're out in the heat of the day. You are training to put yourself in a position where you rely on one another for your very existence. You don't become coworkers. You become a team. You become brothers. You become friends. It's a lot more intense connection than any other co-worker situation you could possibly experience. So these people become more than just friends. They are your family. Even if you don't like each other, you're family. Because you don't like everybody you serve with. I mean, there's almost always some dude you're like, God, that guy. But at the same time, you know when the shit hits the fan, regardless of what you feel for each other, that person is going to put their life on the line for you. And you will do the same. Now picture that person just got shot in the chest and is crying, begging you to save their life, asking you if they're going to be able to go home and see their wife again. And you're 18 years old. Do you think that's something you can be trained for? Do you think that's something you can be prepared for, that you can know how you're going to react to? Of course not. I mean, let's put it in perspective if you've never been in the service. What if I walked in to your house on Thanksgiving, and I'm not making any threats, I'm just trying to present something to kind of click it in your head, and I shot your mother in the leg? That would affect you for the rest of your life. You don't know how you would react to that. You can think right now, you go, oh, I do this or that or whatever. Good luck. It's very different in the heat of the moment, unexpected, or even expected. So we're having this expectation, I think, where we believe our servicemen and women should just be able to handle it. It's what they signed up for. They signed up to defend our nation. They signed up to put their life on the line when the time was needed. Contrary to popular belief, nobody signs up for lifelong mental health issues. Nobody intentionally signs up for lifelong trauma and, say, long-lasting brain injuries from explosions, or, hey, I'm signing up on this paper at 18 years old so that I know I am fully embracing the fact that I'm going to lose my leg, I'm going to burn 90% of my body, I'm going to have shrapnel in my liver for the rest of my days. No. Nobody was prepared for that. Nobody signed up for that. Nobody had that in their mind when they took that oath. But that's what they pay. That's the reality. And I think we can't, we insult them and we insult ourselves when we try to say, well, they should be prepared, or at least maybe we aren't saying that. Maybe we're not being that callous, but in our minds, we're kind of having that sort of expectation. We put them on a different level. We build up this pedestal of where we put our military servicemen and women as to what they should be able to endure, because it should be more than I can endure as a civilian, right? The only thing that separates them was they stood up and said, I would. They're still just as human, still just as susceptible to mental health issues, to physical pain, to trauma and fear and heartache and loss as anybody else. Guilt. Oh, the guilt. And that's probably one of the bigger ones, is guilt. Guilt for what they feel they should be able to endure. Because they look at themselves in much the same way I think we tend to look at them. I'm a soldier, I'm a Marine, I'm an airman, I'm a sailor. I am something more than myself, therefore I should hold myself to a higher standard as to what I can endure. You're still human, first and foremost. So when you struggle, admit you are human and reach out for that human help. You are still susceptible to all the same things as anybody else, which means there is no shame in asking for help when you need it. Particularly when that monster of guilt is upon you. Again, guilt for what you think you should be able to endure. Guilt because you came home and somebody didn't. Guilt that you didn't save that person. Guilt that you took that person's life. Guilt that when other people were giving their all, you were sitting on the fob doing nothing. Guilt that when all of your friends deployed, you stayed home. Because I think oftentimes we attribute all of this to just combat related, but there are other forms of guilt that affect our veterans. Not everybody was in a firefight. That doesn't mean those individuals don't also suffer from guilt and depression and all the other factors that contribute to them taking their own lives. They're no less important. They're no less valuable. They're no less in need of our help. So let's rise above our illusions of what we think people are and should be. We have these people up on the pedestal. Let's raise ourselves up to that pedestal and say, hey, if I'm going to hold you to this standard, if I'm going to think you're capable of this, then by God, I'm going to bring myself up to that level so I can be there for you when you struggle. Let's make an effort to fight by their side when they're overwhelmed with that guilt. Because we've all been there. We've all had something we've felt terrible about. We've all been overwhelmed with guilt over something in our lives. So we know what it's like to struggle. And many of you who've never even put on a uniform have struggled with not just guilt, but with thoughts of suicide. What saved you? What saved you when you thought about it? How can you use that to help somebody else? That's what we want to do. We just want to help. Help each other. Help our heroes. Because our heroes are merely men and women who did what they needed to do when they were put in a situation, more often than not, that they did not expect to be in. And they didn't do it for a medal. They didn't do it because they saw it in a movie. They did it because they didn't want the person beside them to die. They did it because they didn't want to lose that buddy. And a lot of times they did anyway. Because we all do. We all build up in our minds. You know, because I can't think of anybody I know who served in the military who didn't probably watch some movies at some point and go, that's going to be me. Nobody goes through basic training going, I'm going to be the guy who doesn't make it. I'm going to be the guy who doesn't save his buddy. I'm going to be the guy who doesn't save the day. No. We all have in our minds the expectation that when the shit hits the fan, I'm going to be mother effing Rambo. I'm going to save the day. I'm going to single-handedly storm that bunker. I'm going to single-handedly attack through that ambush. I'm going to save every one of my guys. I'm going to carry them out like Forrest Gump. That's not how it works. It isn't. And then we're hit with the reality of real life, and it's not like the movies. Bullets don't magically dodge the good guys. Not everybody goes home at the end of the story. And we go home, and we spend the rest of our lives comparing ourselves to stories, to movies, to things we've heard. But we never compare ourselves to the other average situations. We don't compare ourselves to the other people who are struggling. We only compare ourselves to those we look at as the ideal. Here's the real standard. Here's the real average. Everybody who has served is struggling in some capacity. Everybody who served is a real human. So don't think you need to be some bionic superhero. Not everybody is Captain America. You are important. You are valued. You are valuable. Regardless of what your deployment story is or isn't. Regardless of what your military experience was. Don't measure yourself to somebody else's standard. Accept yours. And accept when you need the help. Because somebody out there wants to help you. Me. And hopefully everybody watching this. Please ask for help. Please reach out to somebody and offer help. 22 every day. 22 average, everyday people who at one point in time in their life put on a uniform and they're killing themselves. We can reach out and we can help them. So, share these videos, share the fundraiser, share your money, but more importantly, share your time. If you don't have $1 to spend, guess what? You have 2 shoulders, most of you, for somebody to cry on. Hopefully you've got 2 ears to listen, even if they're not great. Mine are terrible. Mine are permanently messed up. But I'll still listen. It's not a money thing, though it helps. It's a presence thing. Be present for our veterans. Let's get to it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22 every day. I don't want to stop till that number is 0. I'm hoping none of you do either. So we got a couple days left for this fundraiser. A couple days left of this videos, these push-ups. Thank you for enduring. Now, with those couple days left, I invite everybody to reach out to me. Give me some ideas. What do you want to do beyond this? Because I don't want these 22 days to be it, and we forget. This is just meant to bring it to your attention. Now we need to figure out what to do beyond that.